Conservative new media viewers and Jeremy Lin fans around the world, what's going on? It is me, PFV, the NBA expert, and we're here to analyze and recap Houston's 101-89 victory over the Boston Celtics tonight. Now, with the victory, Houston improves to 11-11 on the season, which is great. They've won 2 games in a row, and that's really good. Now, before I get into this game, I just want to say something because of what happened at the end of the game. And you saw it on ESPN, at least here in the USA. I'm not sure about the feed and other places in the world, but at the end of the game, Kevin Garnett went up to Kevin McHale. Now, of course, Kevin McHale was a Celtic, and he's a legendary Celtic, and obviously Kevin Garnett is playing for the Celtics, and you could see Kevin Garnett talking to Kevin McHale for about a minute or 2 minutes, and what it looked like they were talking about, if I had to guess, was about the death of Alexandra McHale, the tragic death of the 23-year-old Alexandra. And you could see that after they were done talking, that Kevin McHale got really choked up. In fact, he was choked up and kind of crying a little bit while they were talking. So it's just important to remember sometimes, as much as we love basketball, and I love basketball as much as anybody does, that there are bigger things in life. It's a really tragic day here in the United States with the shooting that took place in Connecticut that killed a bunch of young people, and it's really sad. And I just wanted to take a moment to kind of recognize that. I thought that was really classy for Kevin Garnett to do that. Obviously, it meant a lot to Kevin McHale, and there are bigger things in life than basketball, and sometimes life is difficult. I'm sure Kevin McHale knows that as well as anybody does right now, with the sad death of his, I believe, 23-year-old daughter. I mean, that's really difficult, and again, also for the parents and all the families and friends of the victims in Connecticut. So I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to mention that because that was a really touching moment on ESPN tonight. Now, Houston played well in this game. They had stretches where they didn't look good. It looked like they were going to just kind of fold up and let Boston do what they wanted to do, but they pulled it together. Now, Greg Smith played great off of the bench in this game for Houston, just tremendous. He is really, really going to be important to them for what they're going to do for this season. And it's just amazing that he can come in and do what he's doing in a backup role for Omer Asik. And look, Greg Smith could probably play some power forward too. He is a massive guy. He's huge physically. He's extremely strong. He has enormous hands, pretty long arms. So it's just it's really good to see how well he's developed this year. And obviously he's giving Houston some very good minutes as he did in this game tonight, and they needed it. He had like 20 points, and I can't remember how many rebounds, but he played great. And so that's good to see. The bench played well. Tony Douglas played well. We'll talk about that more in a second. Carlos Delfino played well. Chandler Parsons played well, and James Harden also played well. So this was a huge win, and it's great that they got it. All right, let's turn to Jeremy. Now, Jeremy's stats weren't that great in this game. 5 points, 3 boards, 7 assists, shot 2 of 6, and had 3 turnovers. His numbers were okay, though. I mean, his efficiency number, once again, that's positive numbers subtracted by negative numbers, was 11. Now, he only played 27 minutes, so an efficiency number of 11 and 27 minutes is it's decent. It's not great, but it's okay. And so it was all right. Now, as I've said to you guys before, and I'll say it again, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are not going to be happy that Jeremy didn't play at the end of the game. They're going to think that what is coach doing, and et cetera, et cetera. It's boring when Jeremy's not playing, et cetera. It's good when Tony Douglas plays well, because the more that Tony Douglas can play well, the more that Jeremy and Tony Douglas can be on the court at the same time. And what that means is Jeremy can score more because he can handle the ball less, and he can be the guy coming off of screens to shoot and coming off of screens to drive. So it's great that Tony Douglas is playing well. And some of the people are going to hear this and be like, what are you talking about, Paul? Why is that even a discussion? The reason why it's a discussion is because there are certain fans of Jeremy Lin who are scared of Tony Douglas doing well because they think that means Jeremy's going to, come off the bench. Jeremy's not going to start anymore. And I understand that, but that's not going to happen. I really doubt that's going to happen. So don't worry about that. It's good if Tony Douglas plays well. And he's playing better than a lot of people thought he was going to play. So good. That helps the team. The most important thing above everything else is winning. And I know Jeremy knows that. He would put winning above his own stats, above his own minutes. Because if the team wins, everybody looks good. If the team doesn't win, it doesn't matter what you do as an individual. It's like the Lakers. I mean, Kobe's scoring a whole bunch of points, but they're not winning. So it doesn't matter. Winning is the most important thing. So if Tony Douglas plays well, it helps Houston to win. Good. Now, I'm just going to go through some of the notes that I made in this quarter by quarter. What I saw in the first quarter with Jeremy was that he needs more flow. We've talked about this before. Tony Douglas has a little bit more flow and rhythm in his game overall right now than Jeremy does. And there's a reason for that. There's several reasons for it. But the main reason is that Tony Douglas is a point guard and Jeremy Lin is, again, a combo guard, meaning a combination guard, a combination of a point guard and a shooting guard. And so Jeremy's trying to find his spot in this offense, particularly when James Harden's on the floor, and just kind of trying to find his role. Whereas Tony Douglas is a point guard. He comes in and he plays point guard, and that's what he does. Jeremy, it's a little different thing. He's trying to find his spot a little bit more. So that's one of the main reasons why Tony has a little bit more flow in his game right now. Also, Jeremy's coming off a knee injury. Jeremy needs to continue to improve his point guard skills, ball handling, dribbling, shooting, so that he's more confident and feeling good about his shot. One of the things that was good before this game, I didn't get a chance to do a video about it, was that Jeremy was asked in the pregame shoot-around how his knee's doing. And he said his knee's getting better, swelling's getting better, et cetera, et cetera. So even though he doesn't talk about it much, the knee's still not 100%, but it is getting better. So that's really good. I thought that the offense flowed better with Tony in tonight than with Jeremy in. And like I said, look, that's going to happen. It's not a big deal. It's okay. Now, we talked about this in the last game, and I'm moving on to the second quarter here. Jeremy had another one of those bundles of turnovers in the second quarter early. He had 3 turnovers in a pretty short period of time. And that was the only turnovers he had in the game. And when I told you guys the last time was that's exactly what happens. He has a little bunch of turnovers, and then he doesn't have any other turnovers. So I'm starting to understand why that is. Jeremy, sometimes it's just lack of concentration. He kind of gets a little too loosey-goosey, as a term would say in English, just a little too not lazy, but just not focused. And he kind of isn't giving the defense enough respect, where it's like, you can't make a soft pass. You need to make a hard pass, et cetera, et cetera. So what happened tonight with it was that Jeremy was trying to step up his pace. He was trying to increase the pace of the game, like back to like more of like a Linsanity 1.0 pace. And that's a good thing. What happened was, one time he drove the lane, looked to try to pass it to Omer for a shot, but Omer didn't roll. He didn't move the way Jeremy thought he was going to move, so kind of Jeremy got hung up and missed the pass. Now, it's still Jeremy's fault as the guard, but that's not a bad play. That's not a bad play. It's not a play like where he just kind of lazily throws the ball to a guy on the perimeter and, the defender turns it over. This was because he was trying to pick up the pace. And that's good because that says to me he's trying to be more aggressive. He's trying to be aggressive like the coach wants him to be, like fans want him to be. You've heard him talk more about it. Obviously, he was extremely aggressive in the San Antonio game, the Linsanity 2.0 game, and he's working at it. But again, he's still trying to put it all together. He's still trying to find when to turn it up the pace, when not to turn up the pace. Sometimes he's a point guard, sometimes he's a shooting guard. And he doesn't know his teammates yet. So he doesn't know all of their tendencies yet. He doesn't know when Omer is going to move in a certain way so that he can pass the ball in a certain spot. He doesn't know that stuff yet. But I guess the best way to say it is the mistakes that he was making with turnovers tonight were mistakes of commission rather than omission. He was trying to do things rather than just kind of whatever and letting things kind of happen. He was trying to make things happen, and that's good. You can live with that as a coach. It's not a big deal. He does still need to get a full point guard skill set. He does need to dribble better. He does need to shoot better, but he'll get there. It's just going to take time. It might even take, it's going to take a couple of years for him to get the full skill set, as we've talked about. But yeah, it might take throughout this year for him to get his knee, learn his teammates, find his role in the team, etc. So in the meantime, you're probably going to see up and down games from him. You're going to see the Spurs game, Linsanity 2.0, and then you're going to see a game like tonight. And some of it's going to have to do with when Harden's playing. Some of it's going to have to do with Kevin McHale wants to use Tony Douglas more, et cetera, et cetera. Some of it's going to have to do with when his shot's on, when it's not on. So I think we can expect more of that. And that's okay. It's not a big deal. He's continuing to improve, and that's it. Now, later in the second quarter, you saw he had a great sequence against Rajon Rondo. He blocked him 2 drives in a row, and that was tremendous. And Rondo went right at him the first time, and then after Rondo got blocked the first time, then he came right back at him. That's one thing with Rondo. It's very aggressive, and he'll come at you. Like if you mess, if he feels like you got the better of him, he's going to come back at you. And that's what he did. And Jeremy was right there and blocked him again. That was phenomenal. That was the play of the game, the plays of the game for Jeremy Lin. It was tremendous, and it led to a Boston timeout. That's what Jeremy can do. Jeremy is bigger than people think he is. Now, he's not as big as like a Jason Kidd, but he's big. Jeremy's a legitimate 6'3", and he's 200 pounds. He's big. That's part of, again, that's sometimes when he doesn't have the quickness of a Tony Douglas, because Tony Douglas is a lot smaller than him. But Jeremy's big, and he's athletic, and he showed it on those 2 plays. And that was good. Look, Rondo over the summer, Rondo went to the Philippines, and I think he went to Hong Kong. Actually, we covered that for some event. And they interviewed him, and he said a lot of good things about Jeremy, but he also said, look, man, we're going to try to beat down Houston. And, Rondo's competitive. So he was coming at Jeremy tonight. But Jeremy did a much better job in this game. Last year, when Jeremy was in New York, Rondo just crushed him. I mean, he had this ridiculous triple-double, just like insane. Tonight was a lot better. Rondo still got his numbers. He had a double-double, but Jeremy really held his own tonight, and that was good. As we've talked about, everybody's going to come after Jeremy in a way that they're not going to come after Tony Douglas. And Jeremy held his own tonight, and that's the type of thing that guys respect in the league. I'm telling you, Rondo probably not happy tonight, but he'll respect Jeremy because, Jeremy answered the challenge, and that was good. The end of the second quarter, not only did he have his best plays of the game with the blocks on Rondo, but that's when he really got his rhythm and really got his flow. That's when you started seeing in Linsanity stuff. He started, aggressive driving and dishing. You drive into the lane, you beat your man, someone else's man has to come to help you, and then you make a pass to their guy because their guy's open since they came to help you. He had a couple of those. I can't remember who he passed it to. Greg Smith for a dunk, and then I think he had a pass to Greg Smith for a layup. Terrific, terrific, terrific. That's when he was very focused. He had found his groove. He found his rhythm. You saw him miss that three-pointer at the buzzer, and he was mad about that, and that's good. That's when, in that second quarter, near the end of the quarter, he really found his rhythm, and he wasn't thinking. He was just playing, and he was attacking. That's Lin's sanity, Jeremy Lin, and you're going to see more of that. It's just like I said, he's working to put all of that together. If you think about Lin's sanity like a car, and Lin's sanity mode is like fifth gear, he's trying to figure out how to put fifth gear together with fourth gear and third gear and second gear. And it's going to take some time. And he's doing it with a new team in a new system with new teammates. So it's different. It's different than him being used to playing with Tyson Chandler, Jared Jeffries, and I can't remember the other guy's name right now. It's different. So you have to learn all that again. So he's learning it, but he's getting there. And he's going to be fine. As I said, I know people are going to be mad, and he played 27 minutes and Tony played 25. It's going to be fine. McHale saw something there, and he went with Tony. And I'll say something about that in a second. And that's okay. Again, the most important thing is that Houston won. If they win, everything's good. It's only when Jeremy doesn't play down the stretch and they lose, then there's a problem. And I said that the other day. I can't remember who it was they were playing against. It's fine when they win, like against Boston tonight and against the Lakers. It's when they lose and Jeremy doesn't play, then you have a problem. So tonight's fine because they won. Now, Boston was playing their defensive coverage on the pick and rolls, and you saw this, was they were doubling it. They were working to take away Jeremy tonight. They were working to take away that part of Houston's offense. I think that's one reason why McHale probably sat him late, because he knew Boston was trying to take that away. Also, in the third quarter, Rondo really started turning up the heat on Jeremy. He really attacked him. You saw him. He stripped him. He was really going after him, and on both ends. And so I think that McHale went with Douglas down the stretch of this game for a couple of reasons I mentioned. One, the way that Boston was playing the pick and roll. They were trying to take away Jeremy Lin. And Kevin McHale knew that. So it's like, okay, if that's what they're going to do, I'm going to bring in my other guy. Number two, Rondo was attacking Jeremy Lin. He was probably mad about getting blocked like that in the second quarter, and Rondo just went into like destroyer mode. Rondo's very tough. Very, very, very tough. If you get him upset about something, he can do a lot of things. I mean, he can really make you pay. So I think Kevin wanted to take Jeremy out of the game to just kind of get Rondo away from him. Just kind of like, okay, he's focused in on Jeremy. Let's bring in Tony. Those two things. The third thing was Tony had a good rhythm. Now, Jeremy had a good rhythm in the second quarter, third quarter. Like I said, because Rondo was getting under his skin. I mean, he was attacking him. And so he brought Tony in. Tony started finding a little bit of a groove. The team started playing well. Tony hit that huge three-pointer after the Chandler Parsons steal. Had another key and one basket. And so this is good, man. Like I said, this all's well that ends well. Tony's getting his confidence. Houston's getting confidence in him. Jeremy played fine. Jeremy's going to be great. Not a big night tonight. Second game in a row. Not a big game. Not Linsanity 2.0. But it's okay. Another win. Another, punch in the clock. Do your work. Come back the next day. And Jeremy's leg's getting better. He's improving. He's figuring out his spot on the team more and more. So it was good. I'm happy with tonight. Very happy. I wish he would have shot a little bit better, but like you're going to miss some shots. He missed a couple open threes. He missed that one, the teardrop shot. He missed the one kind of righty fade where he tried to go off the glass. It's no big deal. Sometimes you make those. Sometimes you miss those. So, look, that's about it. I'm happy. Good win. Houston is 11-11. another good night, and I'm glad Tony Douglas got some confidence. So Jeremy's good, and that's it. So give us your comments below. Thumbs up, thumbs down on this video. We'll have a full set of links in the video description below the video player, including a link for the Conservative New Media Facebook group where you can come and join. Over 2,000 members there and counting. Love to have you come and join. Once again, I am Paul at Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 YouTube Jeremy Lin fan channel. I hope you're having a great day or night wherever you are in the world. We will talk to you again soon.